Greetings, everyone. This is a group presentation consisting of 7 members for e-learning in higher education. The module we've chosen for this presentation is History of Transformation in Higher Education, and we'll be presenting about globalization or internalisation of higher education in South Africa. I'll now hand over to my group member to introduce the topic.
Internalization is the process of the preparation of people to function in an increasingly international and cultural, relevant and diverse environment. The globalization enhances the students' ability to acquire and to utilize knowledge, to learn new skills and to assimilate new knowledge in order to meet for higher education systems and for the learning material to be integrated into the globalization of education in other countries, moving right along to the evolution of international and educational term.
Correspondence education means exchange of students. That means it is a distance learning, therefore there's no face-to-face. Only 2 universities in South Africa, higher education institutions, are offering distance learning, which are UNISA and Northwest. Intercultural education, it is the response to classroom diversity. That means there's different backgrounds from the students. Globalization and internalization of the curriculum, it is an approach to develop global learning and preparing students to become global citizens. It also includes integration of cultural dimensions into the content of curriculum. The other point is virtual education, which involves fourth industrial revolution, which is the use of online resources such as YouTube, Google Classroom, learning management systems. Global rankings of higher education institutions. It is a competition among other institutions internationally. I'll hand over to the trends.
Higher education institutions in South Africa receives more applicants from foreign countries. This shows that we as a country are doing good in terms of internalisation or globalization of higher education. Secondly, most African students, such as sub-Saharan African, are choosing to further their studies in South Africa, which is another point which proves that we are doing better in terms of internalisation of higher education in this country. Lastly, about 28% of public schools have access to technology such as Wi-Fi and computers. And then this means that there's so much that we still need to do as a country in order to internationalize our higher education so that we can be able to compete on a global level. Moving on to the next topic, processes put in place for internationalization of or globalization of higher education in South Africa.
Since post-apartheid 1994, South Africa higher education has been undergoing changes to rid itself of its apartheid past. Internationalization has become an important issue in the development of their higher education. Education, white paper tray, immigration, and the higher institution qualification sub-framework are the main policy relevant to the internationalization of higher education in South Africa. Coming to the curriculum, even though most students international students are coming to study in South Africa, curriculum has not much changed. It's still the old curriculum, which does not include much of African ways or African teachings. Recent education academics interested in the internationalization of the higher education institution refers where they share ideas and information surrounding the globalization. Moving on to the next slide, which is factors constraining internationalization of higher education.
Lack of institutional vision and policy regarding internationalization is lacking. The existing policies are those that govern how international students are to be treated while studying here, but not about the change in the curriculum to accommodate both international and local students. Secondly, funding and time or expertise. Funding is consequently not made available, and neither is the time or expertise devoted to the process of internationalization. Third, the non-existence of collaboration with international bodies. This lacking of partnerships to promote internationalization decrease the level at which our country is to change the curriculum and to accommodate their students from out of the country. Shortage of trained academics, especially international staff, to successfully develop and implement new initiatives that incorporate internationalization of principles. Last, lack of interest in African higher education institutions. Overseas donors seem to lack trust in our African institutions, thus limiting the possibilities of our institutions in South Africa and Africa taking lead in public health research, publications, and projects. I'll be handing over to the benefits of internationalization of higher education.
Benefits of internalization of higher education. We can only find benefits if we get to work with lecturers from other countries, meaning that we gain more knowledge and experience. We learn different cultures around the world, and we are also able to advance our research and education for sustainability. Globalization also helps spread the knowledge and technology to boost productivity. This way, a higher standard of living is created. Moving forward to the next slide, which is conclusion.
In conclusion, increase in international students applicants, which means international and globalization. It will invite more applicants. Higher education of South Africa, in terms of globalization, they need to attract students from internationals so that they can use their knowledge that they acquired from our country in their country or internationally. The standards that are used in higher education institutions are set according to educational standards. It's not the matter of language policy. We still have other policies like white paper, equity, and others, which they need to promote higher education locally and internationally. This point of more focus on the internationalization of the curriculum refers to how to set standards according to international standards. For example, in terms of engineering, we use same symbols. Thank you.